Good morning. It's take two. Good morning. Yeah, that's what I love. All right, we have a lot to discuss. It's not a long presentation, but there's some things I want to make sure that we share with you. First thing, if you're new, I took the slide out because I know you get tired of looking at it. So somebody will send me an email, say, hey, Joe, you took out that slide in regards to Val, the Village Alert Line. Please don't cancel that. Don't unenroll. Don't do any of that. We send out updates. We're in that H season, hurricane season, and we want to make sure that you're aware of what's going on. So there's a lot of things that we push out. We push out an alert every Friday, and we want to make sure that you stay involved in that. Let me address this first. Board of Directors. If you've been in the Commons building, you've probably seen pictures missing. Yes? Yes. See, we know that. All right. As part of our commitment to transparency, we acknowledge a recent and substantial change to the composition of our Board of Directors. We want to thank these Board of Directors for their contribution to John Knox Village. It is invaluable. They have been great counselors, they've been mentors, they've been friends, and I want to thank them for their service. Dennis Stark, last year he was a chairman of the board. Greg Lafise, Monica Mendoza, and Jesse Gonzalez. Now, why this change? What happened, Joe? Well, when you have a lot of very strong personalities to get together in the same room, all right, you completely understand, right? You do. Eventually, you're going to have some clashes. Eventually, you start getting perhaps maybe you no longer agree to disagree, you disagree. And the board of directors could see how this moving forward could have an impact on the organization. And these members decided to leave. We still have a very strong nucleus or core board of directors. Gary Wright is the chairman, and I have a letter I want to make sure that I read again to you. I read it yesterday, I'm going to read it again today. Paula Kelton, who is here, Bill O'Connor, Dr. Bruce Smith, and then a new board member, Elliot Wimberly. He is a business owner, and he's going to be a great addition to our board. It happens. And I don't want to call anybody out, but people who've been here for a while, it's happened before. And when it happens, it's never pleasant. But we want to make sure you know it wasn't anything that anybody did wrong. It's just a change in personalities, and sometimes they don't always mesh as well as they should, and after a while, there needs to be a change, and so there's a change. Now, do we anticipate that this will affect our organization? No. None of the leadership team has left, plans on leaving, plans on doing anything different. The entire leadership team, the people you deal with every day, stay the same. So we want to make sure you feel comfortable with that. I want to go back and I want to share the letter from Gary Wright. I'm at a family reunion in South Carolina, and I'm unable to attend the meeting. This would have been my 30th year attending meetings with residents, first as legal counsel and now as the chairman of the board. I need to let you know that your board of directors will be working not only to sustain our high quality facilities and services and remain financially secure, but also seek ways to make JKV better. John Knox Village is not just another not-for-profit CCRC. It is where over 800 dear friends, relatives, and neighbors live and thrive together as a community. Please know that we are here to support you. We are currently undergoing some transitions, and we are confident that the board is working on new and improved bylaws, policies, future planning to ensure we are making John Knox Village the best it can be. Thank you for your prayers and support. Gary Wright, Chairman. I know for some of you, you may think, well, That's great, Joe, but is there more? No, there's not more. That's just kind of it. You've got strong personalities, and sometimes it's best to walk away, because remember, and I've shared this before, it's not about our board of directors. It's about our organization. It's about John Knox Village. And with as much love and respect for I have each one of you, you're number 2 on the list. My job, my sole purpose is to make sure this organization survives. Without survival, I can't care for you. I can't give you and continue the commitment that I made to you when you signed your contract. I take that commitment seriously. So please understand, it's organization first, residents second, employees are third. The board of directors, they're down the list a little bit, with all due respect. Because without you, I don't thrive. The organization doesn't thrive, but I need to make sure I make sure the organization is strong. Is that fair enough? All right. So we'll continue to operate, and we will be recruiting board members. And before somebody jumps out there and say, Joe, are you going to put a resident on the board of directors? That is not my decision. All right. We're going to go to occupancy. Occupancy, and I want you to look very closely at some of these numbers. 486 out of 521 for 93.3, plus 14 additional deposits. Cottages, 283 out of 289 for 97.9 with 6 deposits. Apartments, 63 out of 90 for 70%, 6 deposits. Villas, 140 out of 142 with 2 deposits. What do you notice up on that screen? 2 things jump out at you, right? 1, we have no cottages that are for sale. 2, we have no villas for sale. And I only use that, the for sale, for occupancy, because there is, so to speak, no room at the inn. The only thing we currently have available are apartments. Now, I share that with you is because one of the things, we just came back from a board retreat. Every year I get the board together and we do a variety of things. This year we really focused our efforts on long-range planning. Now, there's stuff I can say and stuff I can't say. We are looking, obviously, we would be looking at, we need to position ourselves for the next 50 years. The next 50 years. So it goes beyond our commitment to you. It goes on to a commitment of maybe your children or even your grandchildren. And we want to make sure that we are financially viable and we provide great services. We know our infrastructure is aging. We know we have to do something about that. We cannot continue doing the same thing we did yesterday expecting it to work 50 years from now. So we actually we put together a plan. We worked with an organization. We did a market study with PMD. We also did a long-range planning sessions with our board and with staff and a number of other people, and THW, and that's what they're called, THW. They're out of Atlanta, so you can look them up. They are kind of a leader in design of CCRCs, senior retirement. That's only thing that they do, and they have won many awards doing it. Can we survive? Can we continue to survive on the apartments the way they are? Even though we came up with a short-term solution, is that really viable? So over the next number of months, I'm very hopeful I'll be able to share more with you. It is a big, audacious plan. And when we're able to share that with you, we will. We're excited about it because, again, it positions John Knox, and it allows us to remain viable for at least another 50 years, which is important in what we do. Oakview Suites, 47 out of 49 for, let's call it 96%, and Majestic Oaks, 127 out of 135. Here are just some important reminders. We kind of got a call. Actually, a call went to Vicki in regards to update. I needed to meet with somebody in regards to getting an update on their income and their assets. I don't need to meet with people on an annual basis to do that. We let ad valorem take care of that. Each January, residents are required to provide updates on income and assets. This is to ensure the records are updated and helps us determine eligibility for ad valorem. I'm just being transparent. What does it also allow us to do? It allows us to see if you're giving your assets away to your children. Fair enough? I'm not going to hide that, because many of you have been very forthright and said, hey, Joe, I want to do this. Can I do this? I know in the contract it says these things. Hey, we were able to come to an agreement on that and don't have any problems with that. It doesn't affect their ability to pay their obligations moving forward. Because remember, we're an insurance product. We're guaranteeing that we're going to take care of you the rest of your life, regardless of your ability to pay, as long as it's not due to any fault of your own. Meaning, if you had your portfolio in 2008 and you saw it take a nosedive, I had a couple of residents that lost their entire portfolio. It went to zero. They came to me and they said, Joe, I have to move out. I can't even afford to pay the monthly service fee. This is the great thing about our product. Well, you signed a contract, didn't you? Yes. Was my signature on that contract? Yes. Then you're taken care of. This is the part where it's due to no fault of your own. And so they were able to they went on benevolent assistance, and in a couple of years, their portfolio came back, and they were able to pick up where they left off. So sometimes it's not a permanent thing, sometimes it's just a temporary thing. Fair enough? Transportation to the airport. If you plan to use our transportation services to travel to the airport for an out-of-town trip, please complete and submit an out-of-village card in advance. This step was essential to make us aware. Contacting John Knox, you can call the main line. You know the number, 386-775-3840, extension 814. After hours, you just dial 0 and you'll get security. Pet management. To ensure safety and comfort of all residents and guests, pets must either be carried or secured. We talk about this frequently, and yet I still have people who still are doing it. And guess what? There are other residents telling me about it. So please put them in a carrier, hold them. Strollers are very popular. Pet restrictions and dining. And I know this is a sensitive subject. Pets are not permitted in dining venues unless they're certified service animals and they're pre-approved. Now, we had one of your peers look out for us to make sure we didn't make a political misstep. Service animals are allowed, comfort and emotional support animals are not. That is the law. That's a federal law, and it's the law in Florida. Now, why? Because those service animals have been trained for a specific purpose. So, if you have a dog or a pet, the law even says small horses. Seriously, it does. It says small horses. I would have loved to have that conversation, right? But please, that's something we need to discuss. I'm not going to vent everything out here. That's a private conversation. I'd love to have that private conversation. So please, and thank some of your peers for giving us the heads up on that. So I openly thank you. And just as a reminder, the 4th of July, you know what day it falls on? A Friday. Yeah, you're going to probably see administration take Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, maybe Monday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And with that, that is also the week before we plan on moving administration, accounting specifically, down to Oak Park. Sales and marketing, total connected calls, 1,008. They had 27 sales, 11 buyers. used a military discount. I forgot to take the 50% out of there. Move-ins are 22. Wait list is 40. May sales are 4. May move-ins were 6. HR, you've already seen some of these. We do have 606 employees. That is, and you've seen that number jump up a little bit. And why did it jump up? For the home health pilot program that we've added, which I might add, has gotten off to a very, very good start. The first full month that it had in May, it did very well. So we continue to expect some good things out of there. But dining services, 121 employees, Majestic Oaks 245, those are our two biggest departments. 373 full-time employees and 233 part-time. These are the same numbers we went through last month. Director of Clinical Services, outpatient therapy. Now I know that some people have got a little bit of heartburn about outpatient therapy and where outpatient therapy is located. And can I use the gymnasium? Why there's outpatient therapy? We're looking and we're evaluating that. The issue being is that sometimes there's confidential information shared between the provider and the resident. And when you're standing around taking a rest between exercises, it always looks like you're listening to what? And you could have earbuds in, but it looks like you're listening to somebody and that you're eavesdropping on their conversation. So while we have elected not to do anything right at this particular point, I know I mentioned last month that I got a number of emails about carving out the middle of the day, 9 to 4, 9 to 5, that would only function as outpatient rehab. Residents, I want to make sure you understand, residents come first. You know, it would be hypocritical of me if I stand up here and I talk about the falls that you're having and that you need to use outpatient rehab only to turn around and say, but I'm not going to honor those residents that really need that care and need outpatient therapy and not provide the services that they need, including confidentiality and their right to privacy. If we see this continues to be an issue, if it grows bigger, we will take more aggressive action on that. What would that be? Yes, it may very well be carving out a certain portion of that where outpatient rehab is only in there, and then after hours, people can go in there. I don't know about you. When I work out, it's either earlier in the morning or later at night. I don't work out in the middle of the day. But I'm also not retired and enjoying life the way you are either. So, but for May, they had 46 patients, 41 were therapy, occupational therapy 3. That I know if you talk to Nicole, she's putting together a pretty strong program to grow these numbers and to grow the programming. I'm going to steal just a little bit of her thunder because when she does her presentation, she's going to roll some things out to increase engagement. I'm going to ask for you to attend. Just find out what's going on because it might be helpful to you. Home health, these are the disciplines for number of patients. For May was 30. This is skilled home health. And you can see the breakdown between number of visits and the number of patients. Why do we share this information with you? I'm going to tell you. This one reason alone is because I frequently hear, oh, I didn't know we did home health for Medicare. Oh, I didn't know we did private home health. I would have used you guys instead of using Joe's Healthcare. So you can see I'm going to continue to bang on this to remind you because it's not just you sitting here. There's others at home watching this feed and they too are wondering, hey, can I benefit? Hey, they'll help you. They'll do an evaluation for free to see if you need services or they can help you. Private home health census, 66. It's an increase of 9 from April. And these are 741 visit distribution. Companion were 432 on 47 patients. This is where they've seen the increase. And medication management, 5 patients. Pill planners, 13 patients. It's up from 11. Martha had 201 appointments, and that's with being off for 3 or 4 days. That's pretty good. Now, everybody knows what Martha does, right? Everybody knows Martha? Everybody knows where Martha's at? You can't miss her now. I put her front and center. Medical response, 103 incidents, managing across campus. We had a strong response. A lot of them continue to broad falls, pain. If you have a procedure, even if it's a minor procedure, you had your eye test, or you had cataracts removed, or anything, whatever, there's nothing wrong with letting the clinic nurse know that you had a procedure and that you might need some assistance. I'm not saying you will need assistance, you just might need some assistance. It helps us when we plan, because what do? We mark it down, and then people on the off shift roll over and they come and they check on you, or they'll call and they'll check on you. Operations, pretty straightforward. This was just kind of the fun stuff. Everybody knows National Nursing Home Week. They did a celebration. The dietary team hosted an Italian cooking show for the residents. We welcome Priscilla Vasquez as our new staff development coordinator. She does training, that position does training and education for nurses and CNAs at Majestic Oaks. 1100 Hall has been completed. Renovations have started on 700 Hall. I think we've got 4 more to go. Oakview Suites had a special Mother's Day event, tea party, and did an antique car show on the 13th for Father's Day. Home health, we just want to continue to promote this. We know there are people out there. I received an email and a call from somebody saying, Joe, with the occupancy the way that it is at Oakview Suites, we've got people that need assisted living. What are we going to do? That's a double-edged sword. Now, our residents take priority, but I can't kick somebody out of assisted living just to make room for somebody, because I've made that commitment. So what I'm going to do is, you can reach out home health and make sure you contact assisted living to get on the list, because you may, based upon your needs, go right to the top, because there are other people that are doing pre-planning. They're trying to determine if and when they're going to need assisted living, and if they do. So, and our long-range planning, guess what's number 1 on the list? If you were to say assisted living, you'd be right. So we know that it's a need of ours. We know it's a need for our residents. So that is first on our list. 1100 Hall has been completed, and you can see that 700 Hall, they started it before the 30th. Wellness, Lil presents. Now, first of all, I know there's a question about Amanda Logan. And is Amanda Logan leaving, or is she left? Amanda Logan's not going anywhere. She's not changing jobs. I did go back and I did read in the resident council minutes. Yeah, maybe it could have been worded a little bit differently, but no, Amanda loves what she does. We love Amanda, and we love the job that she's doing, so she's not going anywhere. And she works with they're going to present decluttering and downsizing with AARP on July 25th. You know somebody who needs to attend this. National Picnic Month, road trips and picnic reminiscing sessions. Take down a trip lane, memory lane. That's the 21st of July at 2 p.m. in the auditorium. Education. Dr. Ho presents alternative therapies. I believe he is an acupuncturist. He comes very well recommended, is why we have selected him to learn about holistic treatments. That is June 24th at 1 p.m. here in the auditorium. And Cynthia Pohl will be doing financial services. She's kind of going to do a mixed bag. I know we all think, well, really, what does accounting do? She's going to go through just some of the things that she does, and so you can. That is next Wednesday at 9:30, and they did a technology little seminar, and then they did a technology cup hour over in the gathering place. It's my understanding it was very, very well received. I've asked, and I have my meeting with Scott this afternoon. I know they originally planned on doing that quarterly. If there is a need, we will do it more frequently. So I'm going to see if they have the capacity to do something a little bit more frequently. But technology is taking center stage, and it was very well received. So we'll do what we can. Timeout Tuesday, caregiver relief. We know you're out there too. Please take time for yourself. We know it's not easy. We know it's not easy. I've been doing this, God, I'm going to embarrass myself now here. I've been doing this 44 years. It's not uncommon for the caregiver to fail before the patient does. You must take time for yourself. I've seen a lot over the time I've been doing this, and if you are a caregiver, I applaud you, but ask for help, because it's up to you to keep yourself healthy too. So we will do what we can to try to support that, but there's a timeout Tuesday, and then you can go and check on individual support groups, and you can contact Amanda Logan because she's not going anywhere. These are just the different themed meals. I like to see this. I ask for this as a slide. It is my checkpoint. Are we doing enough? Are we doing enough little fun meals, enough theme meals? If I only see 2 or 3 things, my first question is Stan, what are you doing for the month? And so I love to see these things. It's nice, it's spread out. There's the beer and barbecue on the 23rd. Don't miss it. And welcome to Margaritaville on July 11th. Not sure what that significant is, but. And then the second part is, this is the entertainment. You know, I don't know. Resident Services has done an absolutely phenomenal job. Absolutely. Has done a phenomenal job providing additional free entertainment. I can remember just less than 12 months ago, 15 months ago, we might have 1 or 2, and now you have, 10 or 12 on this particular list. They have done a phenomenal job. So please don't tell me there's nothing to do. A purchase of the van, we do still expect the van late this summer. We want to talk about it. This is what the van will look like if it didn't have a wrap on it. But before it gets here, it gets the JKV wrap, just like the other bus. We're excited to be able to look forward to that. We're also looking at replacing some of the vans that we have. We have a van that's got over 180,000, 190,000 miles on it. And I think we got our use out of it. So we're looking at replacing some vans. You'll also see grounds and maintenance. They will be sporting some new golf carts. We've decided we're going to try the electric route. They say electric is less expensive. At least that's what Tesla tells me on my app. It's less expensive, less maintenance. We're making the transition to electric golf carts. Mark has piloted one for, I'm going to say, at least 9 months, if not almost even a year now. He likes it. It's met his needs. So we're going to transition some of the other things. The grounds equipment, we have, as you know, we have those Ford F-150 trucks. Now, would you believe me if I told you they were 20 years old and they only had 30,000 miles on them? They never leave the village. But even after 20 years, those trucks, the maintenance starts killing you on those things. So we're going to go and do something a little bit different, and we're going to get the grounds crew, we're looking at getting them golf carts too. Actually, they're, what are they? Multi-purpose vehicles. They are little 3-cylinder diesel engines. And so they get good gas. They can tow things with them just like they do with the truck. So they can have the same capacity. So you'll see them start sporting those around in the next few months also. Survey stance. This is for May. There were 1,289 surveys completed. 1,217 were positive. That's a satisfaction score of 94.4. Now, how do we get 94.4? We get 94.4 because what we do is just simply take the number of excellent and good and divide it by the total number of surveys. We add those up, total number of surveys, you get 94.4. Survey stance does it a little bit differently. You get 100 points. If you get an excellent, it's 100 points. If you get good, it's 75. So they do kind of a weighted average. Does that make sense to everybody? You get a 75%, then it's 50, and then it goes down to 25. So that score comes out to be 92.5. I'm just being transparent. I like 94.4 better. So whichever number you like, whichever one you want to do, whether you do weighted average or a satisfaction score level like we do it, the score is very good. We have 172 or 13% were good, 49 were bad, and 2% were terrible. We had talked about and we're looking at putting a survey stance in the grill so we can start calculating that, and we're working on that. This is Director of Facilities. Mark just wants to let you know in advance what he's going to be focusing his attention on. Now, here's a couple other things. One of the things that you won't see in here is a water mitigation. We have a contract with engineering company. That contract went to legal to be reviewed. Our legal counsel resigned. So I got the contract back unreviewed. So as the board of directors were looking, they interviewed legal counsel. They've interviewed 3 different people. They will be making a decision on Tuesday. However, I got a head start, and I have a conference call tomorrow with a legal counsel to start getting some of the business that I have that's piled up to address that. That is the second thing on the list. There's a release that needs to be signed that's been hanging out there for a number of months. And so while there is work that's backed up, it's all part of the legal counsel portion. And as soon as we get that, we'll get that things filed through. You'll also hear Mark talk about the potential of a swale in the back of eucalyptus. We still like that idea. The only thing that's holding us up is we don't want to do that, and then the engineering company comes back and tells us, we wouldn't have done that. We would have done something different. So as soon as that contract is signed and we can engage them, first thing we'll do is have them out there and say, hey, when will that contract be reviewed? I don't want to be standing here next month having the same conversation with you saying that that contract hasn't been reviewed. So it is number 2 on my priority list. I will be sending it out Friday to be reviewed, and so hopefully in a week I will have it back. So again, while the swale is not a lot of money, I think it's $22,000 to kind of put in a French drain and put a swale in there to be able to gather that a good portion of that water. I have also had a conversation with the city of Orange City about Graves Avenue. You've probably heard that. They plan on raising Graves Avenue 3.5 feet. So, Joe, where does that take us in regards to Floribunda? Well, what that does for us in Floribunda, because this was a question that was sent to me in advance. What are we going to do with the units in Floribunda? Right now, 3, 9, 15, 21, 25, 27, 29, and 31 Floribunda buildings will be removed, along with 7, 8, and 9 North Lake. We already have that bid. That bid has already been approved by the board. Why haven't we done it yet? I want to make sure I have my insurance money in my hand before I take down a building. I don't want them to come back on me and say, you shouldn't have done that. Now you're not going to get your money. So, I know. Here's the bad thing about this. I just said that. This is going to go out over YouTube, and somebody, randomly, might watch it. Well, then we'll have to deal with that. But as being transparent, that's what our goal is. We want to make sure that we have our insurance money because we did sustain damage. We did have coverage. The insurance company said, yes, we will pay. And that takes us to SBA, Small Business Loan. Anybody work with the SBA? Yeah? I have not had a very good experience. They give me 24 hours to respond that it takes them 3 weeks to respond to. So I will pass information. They come back. Don't give me a call. They just pop an email in there saying you have 24 hours to respond. You know when it normally is? On a Friday. So then they come back and they want a response, and we've just decided we're going to put that on hold right now. Why did we put it on hold? Here's how this works. If you haven't heard it before, if you've heard it before, you'll hear it again. If you haven't, you'll hear it for the first time. We've been reclassified under Hurricane Milton. We got reclassified. We're no longer an urgent care facility. Majestic Oaks, Oakview Suites, classified, but not the whole campus. Previously, the whole campus would be classified as an urgent care. We're no longer classified than that, so FEMA has decided they make us apply for a loan. Whatever we receive from the loan, they will deduct from what they pay us. So you force us to take a loan to get emergency money. Now, granted, this storm was in October of last year, and we're still messing with this. So I know y'all give Joy grief. Stop. She's the one who has to deal with FEMA. In fact, I'm going to guess she's probably got a call either this afternoon or tomorrow afternoon with them. Tomorrow afternoon. She's got a call with them tomorrow afternoon, and she's the one who has to deal with them. But we have to take a loan to get money for disaster relief, and it's reduced. So what happens if we don't take on any debt for that? We don't get that money? Yeah, that essentially is what it is. Now, we were fortunate. We had insurance for most of these units that were affected. We had insurance for, so we're just waiting on the insurance money. So I have 6 months to go back to the SBA, and I'm hoping that money comes a lot quicker than that. Landscaping, they do what they call a top-down cleaning and replacing things. Their focus for June is tree replacements. Obviously, we don't want to plant new trees in the canopy of old trees. We want to make sure they survive. And then we'll continue with sod replacements the 4th week of June on Valencia. They'll do sod replacements in the first third of the village, north and south, prior to that. Landscaping, sod replacements will continue for the second third of the village, north and south. They're going to continue to do mowing and irrigation. Gatehouse 2. I know we announced Gatehouse 2, and we said it was 180 days, and you would have thought I hurt your children. So we anticipated, we were told 90 days. We're giving them 120 days. Is that fair? Now, Joe, but you have this big gate at the end of Valencia Landing. Why can't you use that? Because after all, somebody from the city said it was okay to use that gate. But somebody from the city doesn't understand the neighbor to the left, the neighbor to the right. There is no technology out there. We would be putting somebody out there in a vehicle with the air conditioning running all day, waiting for people to come in so they can check them in. We have no technology. We have no ability to have internet out there. We would have to run services out there to do that. And by the time we run services out there, we even thought about going out trying to see if we could use some Wi-Fi. I better not. I won't go there. I'm going to go there anyway. I even thought about using somebody's Wi-Fi off their villa at Valencia, but then I realized it was Centrix. There is, and I say that because there is nobody more sorry than I am about Centrix, okay? The fact that I can now make jokes about it, huge strides, huge strides. But there's just no services out there. And we would, to protect the village, we just can't leave a gate unmanned with people coming in and coming out. It's just not kosher. So that's why we're not going to open that gate. Majestic Oaks, we've already talked about that. The clinic, they're in their new location. So if you're in the apartments, you don't need a trip down to Oak Park anymore. You'll need a trip if you're going to come see me, but you don't need a trip to go down to Oak Park for services. And administration. Now, I want to make sure you understand exactly what's going to happen here with administration. Accounting and HR will be what I refer to on the second floor, west side, the old community room that was hardly ever used. Accounting and HR will go there. Administration will be on the second floor east side where the old clinic was. Downstairs on first floor on the east side, marketing will vacate their space and they will move into there, and the pharmacy will stay right where they're at. Now, since there are some of us that like to work a little bit late and we drive security absolutely crazy, they're like sharks in water with those vehicles just keep going around the building waiting for us to leave. We will probably have some new procedures down there. We want to make sure as part of our planning for that building, we had planned doing this anyway. So as we're doing this renovation, we're going to include that. You'll have to be buzzed in if you want to go to the clinic. But yes, we will have somebody at the front desk, and then everybody else will be where we ask. I got to be honest with you, it's a little too quiet down there. Not that I'm asking for noise, it's just a little too quiet down there. But so that will be now why we anticipate we'll get most of that done by the end of June. I'm going to guess probably within the first two weeks of July, it'll all be done and everybody will be relocated. Fair enough? So I'm going to guess by the time I would do this in July, we will have this. Here's some reminders. Cooling season thermostat, 74 to 78. Do you and your significant other fight in regards to the thermostat? Mine do, all the time. They have to have it at 69 at night. It's a little cold for me. But we're going to ask you as part of energy conservation, cooling mode 74 to 78. Then in the evening, at night, if you have ceiling fans, you can probably get that. So ceiling fans cool people, they don't cool rooms. So after you leave your room, flip the switch, turn the ceiling fan off. Make sure your thermostat is on the auto setting. There are many times people like to have air circulate. Sometimes if you have it, you let it get up to 80, all it is circulating heat, and it helps mold grow. We have seen it way too many times. If ALB, so please be cautious of that. Avoid frequent changes in settings. Most of you should have a programmable thermostat. Keep doors and windows closed. Replace your filters. We do that for you, so just remind maintenance to do that. And if you have any unusual noises, let them know. Trash pickup Mondays and Fridays. Place bins out by 8 a.m. Bagged household trash only, no loose ends, no hazardous waste. Recycling pickup is on Wednesday. Cardboard, paper, plastic bottles, aluminum cans, no glass. Speed reminder. Speed limit is 15 miles an hour, not 25, and not you take your half out of the middle. Parking guidelines. I know Stan has got his lanyards, and I know that's going to be, he's rolling that out here pretty soon. We're doing a final review on a couple of things, so I know he's going to be doing that. Reserved parking, we're going to put up signs for people that are in the apartments. Now, right now, if I remember correctly, they're green signs, and it does say tenant parking. It's 6 of one, half dozen the other. It costs us twice as much if we want to have resident parking on the sign, but even the signs that we get are about $4,000 worth of signs. So I thought that we could live with the word tenant versus resident. We'll be installing those. We'll be relabeling some parkings. We've kind of whitewashed some reserved parking away. And then I know this is also a question in regards to reviewing handicap parking for cars. We made some adjustments for golf carts. Somebody's asked to make some adjustments for cars, and I will review that. I will do that tomorrow. Now, I do have a couple of questions here. Question number one is, the number of takeout containers used at John Knox Village is both expensive and bad for the environment. Yes, it is. I would like to suggest on a volunteer basis, we suggest to bring your own reusable container if you expect to take food home. Many residents take food home at virtually every meal they eat here. Everyone here has a dishwasher, and they can clean and reuse their take-home containers. You can even reuse the containers supplied by JKV by cleaning them on the top dishwasher rack. You all know what my answer is, right? No. Consumer-owned containers are not prohibited by restaurant, but the restaurant is responsible for making sure the container is clean and protects from contamination. We would need to be sure that the container is indeed clean and reusable, stainless steel, glass, or sturdy silicone. This policy would need, we would need supervision. Food code prohibits the reuse of single-use disposable containers. So at the end of the day, the answer is no, we can't really do it due to food codes. What is the plan for emergency access during the night on Holly Branch Gate? Emergency access at Holly Branch Gate is not an issue. Orange County Police, Volusia County Police Department, EVAC, all have code access to that gate on Holly Branch. There is fire department, everybody has access to that gate. The second part of the question is with extra security personnel due to Trafford closure, why can't Holly Branch be manned? The emergency vehicles comes down Graves Avenue. Why should they have to go around? Again, emergency vehicles don't have to go around. But they do bring up a really great question is why can't Holly Branch Gate be manned? And specifically, they're referring to 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. As we were going through and we were finishing our planning for this, we found out that our emergency system is hardwired to, if you were to say Gatehouse 2, you'd be right. It's a wireless signal that goes to the other two gatehouses. Why is that important? It's not an enormous delay. It's only a 15-second delay from one gatehouse to the other. It's not substantial. But what it does is when you hit your pendant, Gatehouse 2 gives you alternative locations of where you might be. So while it may give you, you could be down the hall, it'll give us down the hall where your apartment is, or where your villa is, or wherever you may be, and then it will give us alternative locations. That was a resident safety issue. I chose not to go down that road at this particular time. But Joe, we thought you had enough staff to be able to staff that, as did I. We had 2 people that quit. One was with little and no notice, and one worked out their notice. We have somebody that has come on board. They've gone through the onboarding process, and they're going through orientation. So I do expect that to be taken care of. What is my plan for the future? My plan is 24/7 to man the Holly Branch Gate. I told you that before. And I know it sounds like I'm giving you an excuse. Things happen, why they happen, when they happen, I don't know. That's mine to deal with. But you all have now heard me say it. My plan is to, moving forward, to man the Holly Branch Gate 24/7, even after Gatehouse 2 goes into play. So we will have all the gates manned. Now, why would we not man a particular gate? Somebody calls in sick, we can't get somebody to cover, so which gate should we take offline first? Unfortunately, it becomes Holly Branch Gate. I'm just being transparent, because once Trafford Gate comes back open, employees are going to be happy, there's visitors are going to be happy because they use that gate a lot, as well as the front gate. Holly Branch, not so much. But our is, the only time we wouldn't is we don't have the personnel in which to cover that particular gate. Fair enough? All right. All right. It has come to my attention that the beauty salon will be under new management and will close for some time to remodel the salon. My question is when is this going to happen, and will present staff remain? I'm very disappointed to lose my nail tech. I understand that. That's important. We do have, that is one of those contracts that's sitting in a quell for legal to review. We have done most, if not all, of our due diligence. We have made a final decision. I don't know whether the present people have been offered a new position or what that looks like going forward. We do plan on giving this beauty salon a refreshed look. Right now, I'm not sure exactly, but I do know it includes new chairs. And I want to grind on this just for a second, because people have grinded on me about this. The whole issue about those chairs and taking off the footrests. Whose idea was that? The beauty salons. Residents complain that they trip over this when they try to get in and out of the chair. So can we remove them? We did what they asked. Residents say their feet hang. Welcome to my world. So, yes, we do plan on replacing those chairs, putting chairs, kind of giving it a refreshed look. I don't know how long it'll be closed. That I don't know. I know it's a completely different contract than what we've had before, but that's what it is. Please address the future of flooded cottages on Floribunda. We did that, right? You good? And then the last one I have is, I read the council report to see under health that Amanda Logan will be replaced by a new individual. Is this true? Does Amanda no longer work for JKV? If this is true, I think she needs more than a kind of one-liner. I think Amanda is in that back room. So she's still here. She's not going anywhere. She loves what she does. I meet with her on a weekly basis. She's not going anywhere. So I think I would have, and I agree with you, I would have given her more than a one-liner if I thought she was going to leave. Fair enough? All right, really quick. Question.
Is there a progress on the fountain in the pond on Floribunda? The fountain's not working.
Yes. They have to, Here's the issue. They think they can do it with replacement parts versus replacing the entire fountain. And that's the dilemma that they're in, because they've replaced parts a couple of times now. But sometimes the parts that they replace are $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. So that's what they're in the process of evaluating. And yes, that fountain will be turned back on.
I have two questions.
You're only allowed one. You want to tell your friend so she can ask?
I guess I'm going to have to. You said we all have programmable thermostats?
You should have a programmable thermostat.
So if we don't have a programmable one, should we let somebody know?
Let me ask Mark.
Because I don't know.
And I'll send something
anybody
out in the
that has
Village
one.
Weekly. How's that? You don't have a programmable thermostat?
No.
No, it's empty.
No, none of us do, I don't think.
Most of us don't.
None of you?
And we would love to have one, because it would save a lot of energy.
All right, I'll tell you what. I'll take it under advisement.
All right, thank you. My other question is, the sod replacement, is that going to happen automatically, or do we have to say we need sod?
No, that will happen automatically. Yes, sir.
Joe, the marketing property, current marketing property across the corner on Monastery, what are the plans? Or are there plans?
Bonfire. I appreciate you indulging my dry sense of humor. Right now, we don't have any plans for that building. One of the things that we need to do is we need to go in and check how structurally sound that building is before we would look at doing anything different. I know one of the things that's on the table is seeing if we can't convert that to maybe a small conference center for residents to meet, and kind of redo the parking a little bit so residents can go there and have meetings and other little things. Staff can do events, facilities can do a cookout and have everybody together to have a meal. There's a variety of things. So.
Okay, so there's no plans on getting rid of that property?
Oh,
so-
no.
Okay, that's,
All right, I need to address that. We typically buy property, we don't sell it. And if you didn't hear, I know I talked about it last month, 1571 North Silverstone. We purchased that property. Why did we purchase that property? It's adjacent to Holly Branch, and it actually expands. We have from Graves to North Silverstone, we have all that frontage on that side now. That is all our property. So we don't have any definitive use for that property as of yet. But when we see there's easy pickups, we like to do that. Where are we at? Yes, ma'am.
Centrix. What is going on with Centrix? What are we, people at Valencia are ready to tear their hair out because it's constantly off. I don't think we've ever had a full week at our house that we've had constant service. That's horrible.
Okay.
So do we have an alternate vendor or something that we can use that's not
Here's-
5G?
Okay, let me address the last first. Alternate vendor. When we had, for most of the village, they have potentially two sources. They have coax cable and they have fiber optics. So some people, if you're in maybe Holly Branch, you're in Silverstone, you're in a cottage, you not only have fiber optics, but you also have coax cable. So if you decide, I don't want to do Centrix anymore, I want to do Spectrum, and I want to go down that road, and I want to pay whatever Spectrum is charging, you can. The issue with Valencia Landing is that it was only wired one time, and it's wired for fiber optics. Those companies don't play well together. None of the companies do. As we've tried to go, because we've talked about doing a carve out for Valencia, and while there's different lines and we potentially could be able to do that, they don't want to get along. As we move forward, we complete our 3rd year with Centrix on a 5-year agreement. And I have been told they have made progress. I've asked what that progress has been. But the problem is I don't know if it's our infrastructure, if it's their infrastructure, it's their equipment, or it's their equipment upstream from us. And at any one particular time, it could be all 4 of those things. And when I ask that question, I don't really get a good answer, which I'm just going to tell you, I'll be honest with you. It is probably singly the worst decision I've made in the 10 years I've been here. And I had this chat with somebody the other day. At the end of the day, I did my due diligence. I had every I dotted, every T crossed, everything looked good. They shared that they could do it. And I've talked to a number of campuses that have implemented it and had great success with it. Us, not so much. But we're not the only ones. They had a campus that was done about the same time of us, and that was Waterman Village. They, not so much either. Where they have apartment buildings, they have success. Where they have villas and it's spread out, not such great success. So I know I have, and the first half of this year has just flown by for me. I do have plans that within the month of August is sitting down with Centrix and asking them kind of what's going on. I'm paying for 115 units that don't get service. That is 95 units of people that have decided to go and do Spectrum or use another service, and the additional units are units that we've taken offline. That's a lot. That's a significant portion of the total units we pay for. So again, I'm being transparent. That's not your problem, that's my problem, and I'll resolve it. And I'll do what I can and what's best for the organization. And we have talked, and I can potentially go back. I'm not going to promise that I'm going to extricate ourselves from the Centrix contract in 6 months. But I will tell you that I'll try. And that's the best I can do at this time.
Would you please repeat the numbers of the units that you expect to demolish, please? Thank you.
Let's see, what's your address now? I'm teasing. You guys got a great sense of humor. All right, it is 3 Floribunda, 9, 15, 21, 25, 27, 29, 31. Those are all Floribunda. And then 7, 8, and 9, North Lake. Yes, ma'am.
What's the status of the dog park?
You caught me off guard. I don't know. Is there something wrong with the dog? Is it not open?
Last month, you told us that they were working on it.
Uh-huh.
I asked you in here last month. You said they were working on it. You were hoping it would be ready, that they were doing something with testing or that it was toxic, contaminated.
I'll tell you what. This is what I'll do for you. I will get an update. I'll get an update today, and I will put something in the Village Weekly for Friday.
Thank you.
All right? Anything else? If not, thanks for being here. You guys have a great weekend.